This episode is proudly brought to you by Kratzmann Caravans RV Super Centre. Look, out there on the Bruce Highway at Burpengary, don't trust me. Trust every single person that's bought a Kratzmann Caravan. They're still pulling them around Australia. The best caravans in the land. Their RV Super Centre is unbelievable. They've got RVs, caravans. You just need to tell them you listen to Inside Ball and head out there to Burpengary to go and buy yourself a caravan today. Hello and welcome to round 18 and the first round of the NRLW Inside Ball. The great Kevin Walters, myself, Marty DePau yesterday. Unbelievable chat. Yeah. One of the best. Look, he played for his country, has played for many a club, and he's a journeyman. But I tell you what, isn't he just a phenomenal? You did a good job on that.
Yeah, he's quite influential off the field as well, Dobbo, with those younger players around the club and at all clubs. And when I first met him, to get him into the club, I was really impressed. Not him and Michelle, they're a team, obviously, and he was very impressive.
Well, he is a absolute gentleman of a bloke.
The Broncos could do with him right now. They've got a few middle forwards down.
Well, we'll get to that. Jensen gone, and they've also lost Jesse Arthurs. So they are right down on troops. So Deloise Hoyter, there you go. You're back,
He's back in, is he?
He's back in, and a young bloke who's in there has just joined. I'll get to all the Broncos in a minute. Let's start with a bit of Origin news as well as preparations get underway. Look, there's a story doing the round about Hammer at the moment. Don't believe everything you read in the paper. I'm just going to say that now. I'm not even going to give it any air. The Daily Mail have wanted to go with the story. There are people that want to touch on these stories. You go and look into it. What I will say is that it is not true. And I've spoken to the NRL, I've spoken to the QRL, I've spoken to the Dolphins.
Well, come on, you can't just say that and not tell us what it's about.
Well, there's a sex tape out there, alleged sex tape out there.
But it's been hijacked by...
It's just not true. There's way more to the story. Hammer won't be in trouble. My understanding is Hammer is not in trouble, and I have spoken to all three, Dolphins, QRL and NRL. As mail goes, I don't want to give it a lot of air because
we just need
broken relationships, and relationships break up. There's been nothing done, in my understanding, that's anyway illegal. So I just hope this doesn't affect Hammer's build-up to
Origin
next week.
3, the decider.
The decider.
What's your mail out of New South Wales?
I think they're all systems go,
They've got
mate.
4 boys not training yet.
Yeah, mate.
Payne Haas.
Well, he'll play.
Yeah. Jerome Luai, he's got a chest infection problem. He wouldn't be doing any contact.
Well, they haven't called on Reno yet.
No.
Okay, they haven't called on our mate Ren.
When they do, okay. So they're fine.
Let's just say
I'm hearing a bit of noise that there's a few little players not training.
If Reno...
Hudson Young, another one I've heard.
I spoke to somebody at Canberra. He said he'll be fine.
Right.
All I'm going to say this now is, if Reno doesn't come back from Sydney on Saturday, something is up.
Right. He's not staying down there to see mates and catch up?
No, he's not. He'd be staying down there for one thing, try and exterminate a cockroach, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Now, let's get into this weekend. Let's start with the Bronx. How proud are you?
Oh, really proud, Dobbo.
Billy Walters plays his 100th NRL game this weekend. That is a phenomenal effort. Put nothing aside. And we've got to talk about it, mate.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We've got to talk about it. You presented the jersey. You went to the Broncos today.
Yeah.
And you presented your son your jersey. Now, I'm not going to say... Put aside the coach and what's gone on. You went as a dad?
Proud father and representing our family because we're all proud of Bill. I'm proud of all my kids for that matter. But Bill's faced a lot of adversity through his career. He wasn't one of these kids that got a scholarship at 14 or 15 years of age and into the Broncos system or into the Parramatta system, into any system. He wasn't. So he's fought hard to get to where for every game, every inch, he's fought really hard. Went down to the Melbourne Storm. He had a couple of years down there. He made his debut down there. I was coaching Queensland at the time when he made his debut in Wollongong. So we all went down, the family, Norella and I and Jack, Billy, Harry and Ava jumped on the plane, and down we went. It was really proud. I got a bit teary down there.
I bet you did.
When he made his debut. And they won that game, and then he ventured on to the Tigers after that, a couple of years at the Tigers, where he got injured. He got a bad knee injury. Both his MCL and ACL had to be repaired. So that took him out for a long time. And then when I was at the Broncos, take away his second name. Billy's a bloody good footballer. And I rang Craig Bellamy about him once. I don't know if I've ever told you this story.
No.
Because I could see when Billy arrived at the Broncos, he was lacking confidence in himself because he was much better than what he's producing. So I rang Craig and I said, well, what's happening? How did you find Billy down there? He said, look, we love Billy at the Storm. One of the things that we tried to get him better is believing in himself a bit more and having that, because we know he can play, but he's got to bring that self-belief to the game as well. And it's true with most players. You get that self-doubt sometimes, and Billy's obviously went through that. Coming back from the knee injury wouldn't have helped. But, he's been 3 or 4 years now from that injury, and we're seeing some good football from him, really good football. And I'm, very proud. We're all going down on tomorrow, heading down to watch him play.
I've got to ask you, though, how was it going back into the club? I mean that genuinely. It
was fine, Dobbo. I was there for one reason. That was for Billy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, obviously, we've got a strong affiliation.
Of course, you're a club legend, Kev.
So that's never going to go away, right? There's always a soft spot.
But you haven't been back there. You haven't been back to the club since.
There, no.
And so you went in there, and what was it in the change rooms?
No, it was up in the theatre room where all the meetings are. So but I went in there with Rach and Hugo and Daisy, my two grandchildren.
I heard you were carrying one of them. I think you were carrying Daisy.
I carried Daisy into the room. Yeah. So but it was
awkward.
No, I wouldn't say awkward. It was just different, which is okay. But as I said, I was there for Billy. Really proud.
How were the players around you? Were they all yahooing when you went in there?
I had this pretty serious face on, Dobbo. So I was there to do a job and then get out of there. So
hey, listen, I'm bloody proud of you, and I know that meant a lot to Bill. And I know you would always do it, but I'm bloody proud of you because I couldn't do it.
No.
And I mean that, Kev. I could not do it. So it speaks volumes of who you are, that you went back there for your son. It just shows how much you love him.
Yeah.
And because he wasn't a gun footballer growing up, but
you
always said
yep.
when he was playing cup, because he was playing cup and used to go and watch him, mate, he could make it. And he was. And am I right in saying he was 23 or 24 when he got
24 when he made his debut? Yeah. So those Storm players would come up from the Storm club, and they would play with Billy. Drinky, and I think Munster even had a couple of games there.
Nico played with him.
So I thought, well, they're no better than what Billy is, and that they're in the full time system training. So and then he got his opportunities. It's been a long process for Bill, but he's there now and right on top of his game. And everyone, he's had his knockers too, which annoys me. The people out there and. Twitter and that internet,
mate, those blokes who are commenting,
But even the last game, the Broncos played against the Warriors. There's no coincidence when they turned things around. Billy knows where to pass the ball and who to pass the ball at the right times.
Oh, he's very good.
So
that's great kicking game. I tell you what he's improved. His 40-20 kicking game is sublime.
Well, that's from the backyard days, mate. Bill, you got to hit that clothesline on the full with the drop punt. Bang.
What you used to do?
No. We didn't have a clothesline, Dobbo.
Mate, they lose Jesse Arthurs. Let's talk about that. They take on the Dogs.
That's a
top
big
four
one.
Side, but
the Dogs have got some players out
too. They have. Both sides have got players out. Dogs have lost Critter, Mam, King, Karaz. They've got players out. Right, we know that. Burton, thank God, is
playing for the Dogs. That's a big hit.
Yeah.
And also, they're lucky, aren't they, with Lockie Galvin? He's on the interchange.
Yeah. Well, they got Sexton.
Can't even crack the side.
No, and so Brisbane have got it as well because they lose Shibasaki, they lose Haas, they also lose Carrigan, and then they also lose Walsh, who's 18th man. So they've lost 4. So throw in now Jesse Arthurs is out.
Right.
Throw in he pulled up, and then throw in Corey Jensen's out as well.
Right.
Mate, we've got some real drama with this side. Now, I'm going to tell you now, Deloise Hoyter, what a journeyman. He nearly retired from injury.
Yeah.
He'll be on the wing. He's going to be on the wing. And
he won't let anyone down, Deloise.
No, he won't. And also, the other player that's coming in now for the Broncos, will be and this is Ben Tolte.
He's only just arrived.
Just arrived. He's going to make his debut. So Deloise Hoyter and Ben Tolte come in.
Is he a middle forward?
Yeah. I feel for them a little bit.
Right.
I think Brisbane are under the threat now. Look, I'm not going to say they can't win it, because any side with Adam Reynolds, Ezra Mam, Katoni Staggs, Selwyn Cobbo, that's a back line. And look, there's still some good forwards there, but they're going to have to step up, these forwards.
Yeah.
And
we're in the middle, where all games are won and lost. So they're out without their three best now.
Who do you like in this one?
Well, before I knew those injuries, I was going to tip Brisbane, but I think I'll stay on Brisbane.
Mate,
I think they can.
It's Billy's 100th game.
Cause an upset. I can't back against Billy in his 100th game.
Raiders to beat the Dragons?
Yeah, the Raiders will win that. Look, they've got a couple down. Papali'i joins the Origin side. I believed he flew into camp later in the week, but he's joined them now and is in full training with the Maroons. Hudson Young not there as well, but they've just been gliding well.
Very, very good.
13 wins, 3 losses. Put it down for 14.
They're playing at GIO Stadium. Cowboys in the Storm. I can't see the Storm getting beaten. It's at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
Yeah, well, they're down a few numbers as well, aren't they? The Melbourne Storm, but they've been in good form. Their forward pack's still pretty strong. The Storm, Nelson locking the scrum. In the run-on position, and Katoa, some of his tries, or not tries, his tries this last week for the Storm were amazing. And Jerome Hughes is still in that side, and Pappenhausen, right? So that's 2 of the best players, in the NRL. So I think the Cowboys, but they need to win, Dobbo. They're sitting in the bottom 8. They need to win, and they should be very desperate up there. They get a couple of good ins back, couple of good experienced players, but no Tom Malolo still. So. I think without their Origin players, they may get rolled up there in Townsville.
Roosters and West Tigers.
Yes. What about this one too? The Roosters have got a young
Roosters
side.
win it, mate.
Yeah, I know.
But
what's happened at the Tigers, Dobbo?
They've got some dramas.
What happened with Adam Dewey?
So Benji goes into you have obviously a squad. So they're doing semi-opposed. Benji is the opposition. Puts a shot on Dewey.
Shots him.
Puts a shot on him, and then next thing you know, they're blowing.
Right. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that, Dobbo. Really.
I don't think it's great.
No, but they're in a bit
But
of
look at
trouble.
this side. Look at this side. They've got a halves, Sandon Smith and Hugo Savala.
They've been going so good, those two. Very good. And Tedesco's still at fullback. Like, he's held that team together well.
Tuase, Billy Smith, Daniel Tupou. Yes, Sonny Taruva's back in that side. Adam Dewey and Latu Fainu. Look, they've still got May.
They've still got some good players there, the Tigers, but I
don't think they win it.
No,
I can't give it. I think the Roosters win that one.
Yep.
And then the last game, take your pick. Rabbitohs versus Sea Eagles.
Well, Brandon Smith's in the Rabbitohs squad.
Johnson at fullback, Tuss, Ewan Aiken, Campbell Graham, Munro, White and Humphreys. I like White at 6.
Yeah.
Then Tavita Totola, Havili, Keon Kalamatangi, Jai Arrow, Tallis Duncan, Lockie Hubner, Mamazoulis.
That's a pretty good forward pack, Dobbo. But Lewis Dodd's back as well. Is he is he going to be in the 17?
Well, he's in the 17 at the moment.
On Sunday, because I reckon if Brandon Smith plays, he'll drop out.
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like, and I probably need to do a little bit of homework on it.
Yeah, well, if you wouldn't be on holidays for the week, and one of the important...
I think Manly win this.
You've been up on Hamilton Island. Let's talk about that.
For one day. Let's not go.
Who goes up to Hamilton Island for a little overnighter?
It was my sister's 50th. It was my sister's 50th.
Well, how'd you go? Did you have a good time?
Had a nice time. Had a good time.
It's beautiful up there, isn't it? The boys love it?
Boys loved it. Very, very expensive. All I'll say is that... I'm broke. That's why I'm going to do this.
That's why you're back here working, Dobbo.
Bloody oath. Hey, I'm going to tip Manly on this one.
Yeah, Manly as well. I think that the experiment last week between Lehigh Hopewati and Tom Travojevic, I think it worked. Sort of the longer the game went, the better that switch worked for Manly. DCE there as well. Still some noise around what he's doing next year and the like, and that's never going to go away. But
I don't think. If I'm honest with you, I think we all know that he's going to go to the Roosters. But yeah.
Anyway, I think Manly got too much at Four Pines Park. They're very good. A lot harder to beat there. And South Sydney. Well, I feel sorry for Wayne. I really do.
Most injuries out of any team.
I've been in that situation, mate. We had the same thing last year, and it's very hard. And people say, "Oh, next man up mentality." Well, he's running out of men. You know,
everybody wants next Wednesday to be over. Like, if I'm honest,
I know
everybody wants that. Okay,
unless you're directly involved in Origin with the players.
Everybody
and
wants
coaching.
it. Everyone wants to finish so they can get on with it.
Yep.
Sharkies take on the Eels tonight. Now the NRLW kicks off tonight, so it's a standalone game. Look, the Sharks are a very good side.
Had a good season last year.
I don't know if who you can split. We will do a review on those all the games. The Broncos, they'll take on the West Tigers on Saturday at Totally Workwear Stadium. That's
now they got a new captain, Dobbo.
Yeah, well, they got a joint captain.
Are they joint captains?
Ali and Tamika, right. Joint captains. Yeah, so that
Tamika Upton's a huge in for the Broncos.
Huge in, yeah.
She should be able to turn them around.
So how everybody knows it. So Saturday, 12:45, Totally Workwear Stadium. Broncos will play West Tigers. Then you've got the Cowboys and the Titans playing at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in the curtain raiser before Cowboys Melbourne.
Right, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so they're the sides that we'll be really focusing on. Tonight, I think the Sharks win.
Yeah, Sharks to win that.
Sharks to win that tonight. And it's great the NRLW season's alive. Finally, we get some more football.
Stuff,
so it's great. Kratzmann Caravans, player on the move. Now, I know you normally come at me with this, right? I know this is yours. But I just have a feeling Ezra Mam tomorrow night is going to light them up. And I'll tell you why. He hasn't been... He's been waiting. He's just been menacing. For me, with all of them out, Reese is out, Renault's just there, he, to me, says, guess what? I'm going to show you why you've invested in me.
Righto.
I'm going to show you.
Is there something you've seen, or
just something I watched?
Right.
Kobe Hetherington, there's still a long way. I reckon the male is there $100,000 difference between what he wants and what he can get.
Right.
So the club's working overtime.
Right. Well,
I think he might just prove himself as well.
I think there's a few players there, like up to 4, that are really need to finish off the season well. A couple of forwards and the like, to get their contracts renewed at the Broncos. So that's not always a bad thing. That's a good thing as well, where players are trying to be competitive and want to play well, to secure their futures.
Well, I really hope that I really hope, and I mean this, that the Broncos win. But I really hope in a lot of ways, and if I'm honest with you, I don't think they're going to keep all those players.
No.
I don't think they are. There's a lot of players around. I don't think they're going to keep them.
Well, they can't, mate. They've already invested in some for next year. So it's going to be interesting to see. And, that's always an ongoing, not a problem, but it's always a work in progress, your roster, your top 30, your development players, your training trials. It's always moving. It's very hard to stay on top of it. You're never really on top of it. You just really... The wheels just keep spinning. Mate.
Yeah, so that's our Kratzmann players. Kratzmann's Caravan player for the player on the move.
Ezra Mam, hey? All right, go get him,
now,
Ezra.
Here's some questions for Kev. How do you think the Broncos will hold up against the Bulldogs?
Well, that's a good one. I think what I've seen on their team on paper is certainly good enough to beat the Bulldogs. So, Cobbo at fullback, Mariner's back in the side, still got Ezra Mam there, still got Adam
Reynolds.
Useless today.
Should have Adam Reynolds.
Still got Adam Reynolds in the side, the captain of the side, the captain of the club. Still got some good forwards in there. I think they can sneak a win up against the Bulldogs.
Should all teams have a bye the week of Origin?
Well, it's an ongoing problem and issue, isn't it, with the Origin series bang in the middle of our season. I don't have an answer for that question, Dobbo. I do not have an answer. We need to, obviously Origin is a huge part of the calendar, but also the NRL, it's very important this time of the year. Everyone's got clubs and players involved in Origin, so it is difficult. But you know what? There's one Origin game left, and then everyone can set their sights on the finish line and, more importantly, the semi-finals, and how do they get there, working their way up the ladder to try and make the top 8.
Yeah, I agree with you. Also... what kind of attack do you think Queensland should have for Origin next week? Do you think it should be all out?
All out attack. Play through the Blues. That's what Hammer's there for. He's best work in attack is through the middle of the field. Also, he's okay out wide when he gets the ball off shape and the like, but I think particularly with Josh Papali'i in there, their best method is to play through the Blues. They did that in game two in that first half, and really put the sword to the Blues. So they need to get that right. And also their start, Dobbo, their defence has got to be very good and strong, good line speed, good contact, and get themselves into the game like they did in game two. It's going to be tough down there, though, at the stadium, but we'll review this game, won't we, on Monday in more depth.
We certainly will. Okay, you got a bet for us?
Yes, I have, mate. I've got Selwyn Cobbo to score into the Broncos winning this weekend, right?
Yeah.
And the second leg, that's 2 legs. The third leg of our multi will be North Queensland try scorer Jackson Purdue. I think he's a special to score a try. And I'm going to say the Melbourne Storm. I feel like they're a Queensland team, the Melbourne Storm, to win.
Okay, Cobbo, Broncos win, Purdue, Cowboys, but Melbourne win.
Melbourne win.
I love that.
See how we go.
We'll be back on Monday with a lot through, obviously previewing Origin and also
review of the weekend
games. And obviously Darcy will be there for the Monday show.
Yeah,
I'm back for Thursday.
Off to Sydney,
I'm in Sydney. Yeah, I'm in Sydney for the week all week.
Right, so we'll have to do our show on Thursday from Sydney because I'm going down for the Origin as well.
Yeah, you and I.
Right, well, that'll be good. Good luck to Billy Walters too in his 100th game. Well done, mate.
Proud,
family, so proud of you. Go you, good thing.
Good on you. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening and watching Inside Ball.